Here's what I would like to talk about today. This is a little longer than a quick tip, so I've been noodling on some ideas about best practices in accessibility, about building blocks of accessibility, about why people haven't been taught accessibility when they are content creators, and what are the best ways to communicate some of the concepts that we need to talk about to make a more inclusive web and Web3. So you know what? I asked ChatGPT. I've been asking a lot of questions, a lot of technical questions to Chat. So I came across the question, please outline accessibility considerations for someone with MS. And I want to read you this answer to help identify and help solidify ideas about best practices in UX and how they translate over to a specific use case for accessibility. Okay. Designing websites with accessibility considerations for individuals with multiple sclerosis involves addressing a range of potential problems that could affect their interaction with digital interfaces. MS can cause issues like motor difficulties, visual impairments, cognitive challenges, and fatigue. And here's an outline of accessibility considerations. So it starts with motor disabilities, or motor difficulties, rather. What do usability and accessibility specialists need to take into considerations to help this group of people? It says keyboard accessibility, large clickable areas, voice control and alternative input methods, sticky keys, and key repeat delay. So the first two are very, very common techniques for complying with the WCAG, which is the Website Content Accessibility Guidelines. Keyboard accessibility is to ensure that all interactive elements can be accessed via keyboard. Include clear focus indicators to show which element is currently selected. This is often overlooked, and I've seen this overlooked in scores of websites and web apps and all the like. When you tab, you get lost. If you are a tab-only type of person, keyboard only, and you don't have use of the mouse, where are you on the page? Can you easily find it? Some websites do light up where you are on the page with a clear focus indicator. That's what that means. Large clickable areas. Large buttons and ample spacing between clickable elements to accommodate users with limited precision. So, you know, we might have been stuck in the circular thinking of maybe these large clickable areas are just for seniors or you know, people who develop handshake as they get older. But MS is another consideration for having a nice big button. You know, you're going to start at 40 pixels by 40 pixels for a touch tablet or a cell phone target area. And what this means is make it bigger than 40 pixels for interactivity. The next one is voice control and alternative input methods. And it says provide support for voice commands and alternative input methods such as touchscreens or adaptive devices. I'm not going to go too deep into that one right now. Sticky keys. Now, I got my introduction to sticky keys on accident as a web developer decades ago when you would accidentally click, I think it was Shift 5 times. If you hit Shift 5 times, all of a sudden it's sticky keys and you can't get out of it, and you have to go look up how do I get out of sticky keys. So here's what it says about it. Implement features that allow users to activate multiple keys in sequence rather than simultaneously, and adjust key repeat delay to accommodate slower typing speeds. And so that's to enable somebody who doesn't have the manual dexterity on their keyboard to be able to do Control C at the same time. So it allows them to do Control tap lift and then C tap lift. That's what sticky keys is all about. The next one, visual impairments. High contrast modes. Offer a high contrast mode to make text and interface elements more distinguishable for users with visual impairments. I go in depth into color and color contrast in other videos, and I'm going to say this is like a building block and a cornerstone. So the next one is scalable text. Allow users to adjust text size without breaking the layout or the functionality of the site. So here we are in responsive design. So these are UX principles, basic UX principles. And so if you're building something new, maybe in a back-end coding language like React or something, and you're not starting with responsive design, you're doing a disservice to users of all manner of different motor disabilities, or in many different categories of disability. So the next one under visual impairments is colorblind friendly design. Avoid relying solely on color to convey information. I have this on repeat in my brain. This is rule number 1. Never use color alone to convey important information. I just have it in my brain. Use patterns, labels, or textures in addition to color, and that's the solution for helping with colorblind friendly design. So accessible images, it says next, and your accessibility considerations are supposed to provide descriptive alt text for images and graphical content to ensure screen reader users can access the information. I have other videos on that, and it is another cornerstone in all accessibility to help many groups of people. So number 3, we are going down the list of accessibility considerations for people with MS. And the third one is cognitive challenge. Simplified navigation. Use clear, consistent navigation structures. Breadcrumbs and simple menu designs can help users understand their location on the site. So breadcrumbs, yeah, go breadcrumbs. So wayfinding. It's really important to have not only just wayfinding in one place, but consistent use of wayfinding in all areas of the website. The next one is plain language. So there's a whole website about it. It's called the Plain Language Initiative. We're to use simple, straightforward language. Avoid jargon and complex sentences. Yes. Content chunking. I talk about this a lot in my personal trainings, is we chunk content differently for the web than we do for a white paper. So we're going to break up content into smaller, manageable chunks with clear headings. Use lists and bullet points for easy scanning. Again, a totally different approach for your long format articles than it is into like your bite-sized website content. Maybe you're doing e-commerce or something like that. The smaller you break up your content, the easier it is to scan and find info. Next one, consistent layout. I already talked to this one. Maintain a consistent layout and design throughout the site to reduce the cognitive load and make navigation predictable. So this is baseline UX 101. Make everything predictable, usable, and consistent. Error prevention and recovery. So not a lot of people are talking about errors unless you go deep into studying UX UI, but error prevention language matters, and there are large sections of that in some web standards, and there are large I lost my words. I'm just going to read this. Use form validation and provide clear, helpful error messages. Offer suggestions for correcting errors. Plain Language Initiative has sections on language for errors. It's very important. The next one, fatigue management. Task simplification. Simplify tasks as much as possible. For example, reduce the number of steps required to complete a form. I remember back in the day, in the early aughts, we were counting clicks, and it was a big indicator of how easy something was to get to, of it's only 2 clicks away. But now, according to the Nielsen Norman Group, we're leaning less on click counts than we are on things like taxonomy, like an ease of finding something. Is it in the right category? And so taxonomy is a kind of a big deal, and there's all sorts of user tests you can do to find out what category people think that the thing should be in. Fatigue management. 4 is save progress features. Allow users to save their progress in long forms or complex processes, enabling them to return later. We see it all over the web. It seems like a no-brainer, but you have to build it in and you have to know that you have to do it. Time extensions. Avoid imposing strict time limits on tasks or provide options to extend time limits, accommodating users who may need more time due to fatigue. This is in like e-learning, two-factor authentication. My VPN actually has a timer on it for me to put 6 numbers into a text field. I have to go find my phone, get the 6 numbers from another app, and then I have to type them into my computer, and it can be an extreme challenge for somebody who is dealing with not just MS. I know this video is on MS, but it could be an extreme challenge for a lot of different types of disabilities. Okay, next, general usability. Responsive design. I did talk to responsive design. So ensure the website is fully responsive and works well on various devices, including tablets and smartphones. This accommodates users who may prefer different devices based on their physical comfort or their ability. Next one is minimal use of flashing moving content. Avoid flashing or quickly moving content, which can be distracting and may trigger symptoms in some users. So I learned about this as an epilepsy trigger for a seizure, where there's a flash at a certain strobe frequency that will trigger somebody. And I learned that in the probably 2001, 2002. But also, I didn't know that that was something of a consideration for somebody with MS. So this is super interesting. And did you know that if you don't have a way to stop an auto animation that loads on page load, that is a, like it'll be a ding against you in an accessibility audit. So there must be a way to stop a moving animation in the fancy whiz-bang things that you build. Accessible multimedia. Provide captions and transcripts. They're 2 different things, y'all. And alternative formats for audio and video content, making them accessible to all users. I could go on for another 2 hours on that, and I'm going to not. So I'm going to get through this video. Feedback and confirmation is the last point that I have in this list. So clear feedback. Provide immediate feedback and clear feedback for user actions, such as form submissions or button clicks. This helps users understand that their actions have been recognized and processed. This helps everybody, I'm telling you, not just MS. A lot of the principles, and I'm outlining this and reading this aloud and detailing this for you to let you know that UX, UI professionals have nailed it when it comes to accessibility, because accessibility is kind of like under good user experience. It's like a facet of good user experience. So if you're building something for Web3, or if you're building your website, or you're launching a new product or a new service, please employ the help of a professional UX designer, because they know all of these, and they may not know the accessibility specialties that I'm reading to you here, unless they've had extensive training on it, because it's not really taught a lot. So let me get through to this last bullet item. I know that was a tangent. Confirmation messages. Use confirmation messages or screens after significant actions, such as completing a purchase or submitting a form, to reassure users that the task was successful. So we call this a success message. When you make a form, especially in like a content management system, there's a way that you have to drill down and click through to find your success message, but you can find it even if you're not a back-end coder. Code in a nice, helpful success message that, yes, we've received it, and you can expect this XYZ to happen. By implementing these considerations, UX designers can create an inclusive and accessible experience for individuals with multiple sclerosis, ensuring that they can navigate and interact with websites comfortably and effectively. It's also beneficial to test designs with users who have MS or consult with experts in accessible design to identify and address any potential barriers. Now, this word barriers is something I'm going to make a lot of other content on because it's really a touchstone. It's like a jumping off point for when somebody who has no disabilities learns that there are barriers to accessible content. That piques their curiosity. They want to know more. Like, what? The stuff that I put on the web can't be accessed by everybody? When it's a surprise to you that sometimes there are barriers to getting to your content for people in different user groups, then maybe you're more invested in finding out what you could do to change that. That is what I prepared for this little video. I will catch you next time.